So my name is Katrina,
I'm Tracy Sayer.
I'm Kendall Davis.
and
Uh,
we're from Moonshot. So Moonshot Initiative works toward gender equity in film and TV through various programs. We have our signature film challenge, our virtual workshop series, our virtual courses, in-person network, and our feature accelerator and pilot accelerator, which you're about to hear about today.
And some of you who may have even applied to the Pilot Accelerator in 2021, 2023, or 2024, or our Feature Accelerator in 2025. Or you may have emailed with Kendall.
yeah, hi, I'm Kendall Davis. I'm the programs coordinator for Moonshot Initiative. So anytime you're emailing with programs at Moonshot, that's me. I'm here to answer all your questions that you have outside of the Q&A and everything, and for whatever you need.
Yeah, so be friendly when you email. Remember, this lovely person is answering your emails. But even if you haven't participated in any of our programs, we wanted to hold this info session to answer any questions you may have as you prepare your application.
We have 350 people signed up for this info session, so I know we will not be able to make it to every single question, but we're going to try to cover as much ground as we possibly can. So now we're going to take a few minutes to give you a rundown of the Pilot Accelerator application process and the program itself. And again, after we're going to answer some questions. So in this highly competitive virtual accelerator program for TV writers, 6 to 8 fellows will receive 3 weeks of industry training before having the opportunity to pitch to major studios, production companies, representatives, and producers, including HBO, Netflix, and many more. The entire accelerator, including the training and the pitching, will occur online.
The goal of this program is to launch the careers of our fellows. Already, our past fellows have sold a project to a production company they met through the accelerator, gotten staffed on TV series. In one instance, one fellow was hired by another fellow, which is like the dream, received representation from an accelerator meeting, had projects in development with producers they met during the accelerator, had a project optioned by a production company, secured follow-up meetings with executives, gotten hired as writing support staff on an existing series, and made many valuable industry contacts. This program aims to increase the representation of women and gender expansive people on screen and in writers' rooms, and we're doing it.
Right now, we are accepting applications through May 27th. That is the final deadline. We're looking for live action narrative pilot scripts of any genre, half hour or hour long format that improve the representation of women and gender expansive people in television.
Fees range depending on when you submit, ranging from $49 for the early bird deadline, which has passed, to $79 for the final deadline on May 27th. At the end of this Q&A, we will be sharing a discount code for you all, though.
Our selection committee is going through all of the applications. That committee is made up of past fellows, all incredibly talented writers that we would trust to read our own scripts. These past fellows have worked in writers' rooms, sold projects to major companies, and more. And more importantly, they all understand this program inside and out. They know what it takes for a writer to succeed in it. So their insights on the scripts are so valuable because they know what this program is and what kind of writer is going to succeed in it.
We'll be selecting about 50 quarterfinalists who will need to submit a 2-minute video for further consideration. We'll provide all of the info about what we're looking for in that video to the selected quarterfinalists.
And I'm realizing that actually we're having a wider group of people submit videos this year, even before we get to the quarterfinalist stage.
Mm.
And so that's going to be a wider group. This is really an opportunity for you to show off your ability to speak about your project directly to the camera, which is what's going to happen in the program when you're in pitch meetings. So after that, we'll be selecting the quarterfinalists out of those folks. And then from there, we'll select about 24 semifinalists. Those semifinalist scripts will get read by industry judges. So TV series creators, showrunners, executive producers, high level TV writers. this is a really great opportunity for the semifinalists because many of these judges are in the position to staff rooms now or in the future. A lot of them are looking for talent. And in the past, we've had many of the judges request a meeting with a semifinalist whose script that they read. So that's a really amazing opportunity to get your script read by someone who, is in that position in the industry. Our semifinalists are also invited to a virtual networking event where they can connect with other semifinalists, build their community of up and coming writers. We've had people even like collaborate on projects just from that semifinalist networking event. So we hope to kind of provide a lot of opportunities for people aside from just those 6 to 8 chosen fellows.
And after we receive feedback from our industry judges, we'll select about 12 finalists who will interview via Zoom in early August. And then we will announce the 6 to 8 fellows in late August.
We are looking for people who have complete polished pilots ready to sell, who are ready to be staffed in a writer's room, people who are excited to dedicate a lot of time and energy into this program. It's going to be an intensive time of getting your pitch really polished, ready for meetings and pitches. We're not really working on your scripts during this program because the whole program is so focused on getting that pitch ready so that when you do get into those meetings with HBO, with Netflix, you feel so confident and comfortable and ready to talk about your project.
But if your pilot isn't quite ready, our Revise a Pilot in 30 Days course begins April 28th. That's in 8 days from now. You'll get daily coursework to give you your revision process structure and guidance, moving from big picture structural and pacing improvements to fine editing with focused passes that address pace, dialogue, formatting, and more. This course is free, absolutely free for annual members, 50% off for monthly members, and $3.99 for non-members. Participants will get a few extra days to submit to the Pilot Accelerator. So we offered this program because we were hearing from a lot of people asking if there was going to be revision included in the Pilot Accelerator. But we really want to make sure that if you're submitting, your script is as good as you can get it. And so we decided to offer this course last minute just to help out everyone that keeps asking us about this.
We literally decided to offer this course like last week and it's starting on the 28th. We've had this course before, so it is like, tried and true, but this in no means do you have to do this course to submit. But this is like totally separate and we wanted to make this resource available to people. So, um, before we talk about the program and pitch week, quick reminder, put all of your questions in the Q&A box and we'll get to them after we finish sharing this general information. So Tracy, do you want to start talking about the program itself?
Sure. The 6 to 8 fellows will get some homework once they're announced, which is a few weeks before the program begins. They will be reading each other's scripts, watching some of our past virtual workshops, preparing a verbal pitch, etc. During this time, they'll also get a one-on-one mentorship meeting with one of our last accelerators fellows. So you can talk to someone who's just been through the whole process and start to get comfortable with it.
Yeah, and they are so helpful with like helping you get some notes on your pitch before you even start the program because we like give all this outline of what to include in that pitch for our fellows, but then to have feedback from someone who knows what it's like is so helpful. Like I feel like people come into the program with pitches that are already so great, partly because of those meetings.
Mhm.
And then for our actual program, we're going to be meeting basically Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from September 15th to October 1st. And during those meetings, we will be bringing in industry guests to give you advice, help you polish your pitch, answer any questions that you have. So, this includes a showrunner who will help you prepare a solid pitch from the perspective of someone who has successfully pitched a project before. Jasmine Russ at Fable Entertainment. So, this is a development exec who will help you prepare your pitch from the point of view of a development exec. Speech coach who will help you polish your verbal pitch delivery, an entertainment lawyer who will provide legal information, a showrunner running a mock writer's room for the fellows with one of the fellows' scripts, which is really fun. An agent, a manager doing Q&As so that fellows can get that perspective before they go into pitch week.
During Pitch Week, a bunch of studios, production companies, producers, and representatives will be hearing pitches. So far, confirmed companies include HBO, Netflix, Element, Atlantic Pictures, Yes Norman, and Level Forward. We'll have many more announced in the lead up to the program, so keep an eye out on our website, social media, and email list for the announcement. Companies that have heard pitches in the past include Hulu, Showtime, Stars, Amazon Originals, Warner Bros., Broadway Video, Blumhouse, Comedy Central, Anonymous Content, and many more. Each company that gets involved agrees to hear at least 3 pitches. We send over the fellows' log lines to them in advance, and they will let us know whose pitches they want to hear from. So, when you're a fellow getting a pitch meeting, you know that that executive wants to hear your pitch. They requested to hear it exactly. Some of the development executives, they only work in comedy, for example, so they're not going to be requesting drama pitches. Um, yeah.
Yeah. In each of our last couple accelerators, we had about 20 or so companies that heard pitches. We set up over 60 pitch meetings, and each fellow had about 6 to 10 one-on-one pitch meetings with these companies during pitch week. The majority of pitches ended in a request to read the script, and several executives over all the years keep telling us how impressed they are with the fellows and their pitches. A lot of them say, wow, these fellows are better prepared than many of just kind of the regular meetings that I typically take, which is so incredible to hear and should make the fellows feel so comfortable doing those pitches because they know that they are well prepared by the end of this program. And since the accelerators, as Tracy was saying earlier, we have had fellows sell a project. We've had several get staffed, receive representation, become mentees to showrunners, develop a feature film with a producer they met in the program, gotten work as writers' room support staff, won contests with the pitches they prepared in the program, and more. And in terms of the goals, of course, we would love it if one or more fellows was able to sell a pitch through this program, but that is not the only outcome we're shooting for. Tracy, do you want to talk about some of the other outcomes?
Sure. We're also hoping that some of the fellows could be hired as staff writers or support staff for existing shows. We're hoping that even semi-finalists who don't make it into the program might make a good enough impression on one of our industry judges that they'll be asked for a meeting, which has happened. Um, our goal is getting our fellows foot in the door. Maybe a meeting doesn't lead to a sale this time, but a production company likes you enough that they want to reach out with your next project, or maybe a producer or exec remembers you next time one of their shows is hiring and thinks you'd be a great fit for their room. All of our past fellows have had their pitch week meeting results in some requests to read the full script, and we believe all of our past fellows have had follow-up meetings or general meetings with the people they pitch to. These are really important relationships to develop, even if there's no immediate payoff. It's a long game.
We have not only had multiple fellows find representation during our pitch week, but we've even had people use the fact that they are a Moonshot Fellow and have a ton of pitches lined up to get representation outside of the people we have on board to hear pitches. So there are so many other ways to kind of leverage the acceptance into this program. Our fellows are going to be making great connections with the other writers who are moving up the ranks of the industry. And I think this isn't really talked about enough. But as we were saying, like one of our past fellows just hired another past fellow into a writer's room. And these weren't even people who were in the same cohort. These were people who connected as part of our alumni group that is pretty active and holds, Zoom meetings. We try to do some in-person stuff with the alums. So they really get a chance to keep like growing those connections. I was just in one of those Zoom meetings and one of the past fellows said, "Oh, this development exec I know is looking for like XYZ type projects. Does anyone have something like that? I can forward it along." So these are super, super valuable connections of the people who can refer you to representatives or writers' rooms or give you really great notes, give you great notes on your pitches in the future. So this is one of the reasons that we have an intensive schedule and require 100% attendance because we want our fellows to get to know each other.
Okay, so we shared some of our upcoming events in the chat. We will end our monologue very soon and answer your
We're
audience
going to tell you
questions.
about the
But
events.
yes, so our upcoming events this Thursday, I'm so excited about this. We are hosting a screening for the short films we made during the last film challenge, and we're hosting it in my home ground at the Rosendale Theater in Rosendale, the Hudson Valley. It's going to be Thursday, April 23rd from 6:30 to 9. You can meet us in person if you're there, and you can also, more importantly, meet a lot of the filmmakers that worked on these films.
Then,
Introduce
if you were
yourself.
in New York City, another opportunity to meet us in person as well as our larger community, we are having a mixer at the Chelsea Bell in Chelsea on Monday, the 27th. And that is a collaboration mixer with NYWIFT, New York Women in Film and Television. So if you are a member of Moonshot, you can get in for free through the link that we put in the chat. If you are a NYWIFT member but not a Moonshot member, you can get a free ticket through NYWIFT's website. And then the next day, our Revise a Pilot in 30 Days course begins. Again, we just made this available because a lot of people were asking for resources on getting their projects ready to submit to this, and it is totally free if you are an annual member.
And then on May 4th, we are going to be hosting a panel with our the last cohort of Pilot Accelerator Fellows or Feature Accelerator Fellows.
No, this one's the pilot. We made them wait for two
Oh,
years to do
oh
this
my
panel
gosh.
so that it can be right before this application period.
Oh, you're right.
But this is always one of our most popular events of the year because, like, these are people who you could be in this position a year from now. They have pitched to some of the biggest companies in the entire industry. They have, like, gone through this program and they have a lot to share. And the cool thing about the fact that this is 2 years after is that, like, a lot of them will have some fun updates to share.
And then the next day on May 5th, we're going to have our Creative Resilience virtual meetup. That's also free for annual members and
For all
monthly
members.
for all members. It's really just a fun group to help stay motivated, connect with other artists during these trying times. So yeah, we're gonna be busy.
So, the last thing we'll say before the audience Q&A is that Moonshot members are going to receive a discount through the entire rest of the application period. So annual members get 30% off all the way through that May 27th final deadline. Monthly members get 15% off. Those have been sent to your email if you are a member. And for all of our members, we have a bunch of full recordings of past virtual workshops that may be helpful in this whole process. We have a mock general meeting with a development exec, a Q&A with a Warner Brothers development exec, interview with a bunch of showrunners, the panels of our previous 2021 and 2023 Pilot Accelerator Fellows.
And if you're good at math, you'll know that the annual membership is a ridiculous deal. We do that on purpose because we just want to have members in our community supporting us through the year. And so we give back by having ridiculous discounts on everything that's for members. So finally, we get to your audience questions. Jan Johnson Goldberger asks, so the Pilot Accelerator happens every 2 years?
So right now we are on kind of this like alternating pilot accelerator 1 year, feature accelerator the next year kind of schedule. We are looking at doing both of them next year, but for sure we're going to do the feature accelerator next year. If we have enough interest in the pilot accelerator this year, we may just do both. But if you're thinking about like, should I submit this year or should I wait till next year? Definitely submit this year because we cannot tell you 100% sure that we're going to have the pilot accelerator next year.
We also hosted our film challenge this past year, brought it back. So things were our schedule was a little off.
So Alice Charles asks about success stories. Do you want to talk a little bit more about, I think it's actually like kind of a fun story, how the one sale happened. We have to be vague because it hasn't been like announced yet, but I actually think the way that it happened is kind of a testament to how these like longer term relationships work out.
Katrina and I sit in on the pitch meetings where we're behind our cameras are off, but we sit in because we love to provide notes for our fellows. Sometimes they're nervous, they're pitching to HBO, and afterwards they're like, they didn't laugh at any of my jokes. And we'll be like, no, they laughed at all of your jokes. They were just muted. Don't worry. So anyway, one of our fellows pitched a great project, I think in 2021. The next year, and it was a drama. the next year, I was sitting
Don't
in
share the
on,
company though.
I won't show their company. I've learned. I was sitting in on a pitch meeting, and a comedy company was saying that they were looking for a script that sounded similar to the one that was from 2021. And so after that meeting, I was like, would you like to hear from one of our past fellows who has a similar script? And she was like, yeah, of course. So I set them up, and they were developing a project together with a household name, and they were started hiring for a writer's room, and they reached out to our alumni group to ask for scripts, and they hired someone, one of our past fellows, and it was just like exactly how we hoped that this the accelerator would work. And we can't say any of the names yet, so it's killing us, but we're very proud.
Yeah, we're very excited and like we think that it's a testament to, you know, some of these relationships could take several years to really build and develop, but then, you might finally have the project that's right for these execs or these companies. And the fact that you have like already built and developed that relationship really helps. And the fact that you are building the relationships with the other fellows also really helps when it comes time to these people being able to like hire into rooms. Um, and yeah, we've also seen, a lot of people get representation, get some stuff optioned or work on we also this one's kind of a fun story. We had a fellow pitching a pilot to a producer, and the producer heard a little bit of the fellow's life story as part of the pitch
Mm.
and was interested in that aspect, not the actual pilot. So they started developing a feature based on that aspect of this writer's life story. So there are so many ways that this could benefit writers that you can't even kind of picture going into it. So you really have to look at these. You have to look at these meetings as like first dates where you're getting to know people and seeing if you click, and then hoping that these relationships really build and develop and work out down the line.
Carrie Hunter asks, how much do you need to go into the plot of the story and explaining the ensemble in this application? Is a sentence or two sufficient, or do you find that applicants that go deeper into a specific character's journey are more compelling for your judges?
Okay, so the log line, we definitely want to be 1 to 2 sentences at most. And then we ask a question about where do you see this headed in the rest of the season or series? So let me tell you how both of those questions work. So the log line really helps us kind of just get your project in a quick context. This is what's really helpful when we're going back and we're like, okay, which one was this project? And we really want to get a sense of what it is. So you want to keep that really succinct. It does help, I think, to tie it into at least, kind of your main character, giving us a sense of not only like what the general story is, but who are we following in the story. That's usually a good guideline for log lines. So I hope that helps, but it helps us to know like who are we following in this story. And then that question about where is this series going for the rest of the season and series as a whole helps us when we finish reading the pilot and we want to get a sense of like, what are you imagining happens after this? And so again, you want to keep this as succinct as possible. You do not have to know everything about it, but it helps us to understand if the writer is seeing this as what it is, which is the opening chapter of a longer, novel or series where the story is just opening up at the end of the pilot, or if they haven't really thought out, what the season and series looks like. I hope that helps. Keep everything as succinct as you can make it because, that always just helps for clarity.
You're not going to be selected or disqualified because of your log line. You're going to move up because of the quality of your writing. Everything gets read multiple times. So we're going to give your script the chance to really be known, be seen. So you're not only representing it through the log line.
Brittany H says, if you are new with no previous experience to highlight your work, what else can you do to make your application stand out?
Okay, this is a great question because that's one of the things that stands out about our competition, this accelerator. You do not need accolades, awards, representation, any of that stuff. You're really standing on the merit of your writing and your script. And so when we're looking at your application, the first thing that we look at is your writing. So in order to really stand out, I would just make sure you have heartfelt, succinct answers to our application questions, and then just make sure that your writing is as flawless as you can get it.
And I actually think so. We're on Scribe this year for the first time. As many of you may know, Coverfly, which is what we used previously, has shut down. And Scribe is the new platform that we're on. I'm actually not 100% sure if we are going to be able to see writers' bios or not. So again, it's really going to stand on, the quality of your writing. I think you are able to add a bio and such if you would like to your Scribe account, but I am not even sure we're able to see that.
Design Like You Mean It asks, what length do you suggest for the answer to why you, why now question? 500 words?
So the max word count in that is 100. So again, this is something that you're going to keep really succinct, and I hope that helps to be able to kind of plan it out. Nicole is asking, I'm wondering if Moonshot is only open for 30-minute pilots or can we submit 60-minute pilots as well?
You can submit both. Sorry. Yes, we are looking for traditional comedies, traditional dramas, dramedies, and we, based on the genre of your script, we try to match you with judges that are in that same genre. So if you submit a 30-minute comedy, we are going to have comedy writers read your scripts, and then we typically try to choose fellows that are half and half, comedies and dramas. And then we try to find a mix of companies that will hear comedies and dramas. So we really are trying to cover it all.
We like to have a range of genres because we want to have like a nice wide array for these companies to choose from. So we have had period pieces and sci-fi and fantasy and dark comedy, and the list goes on and on. We like to have a really wide variety, and like Tracy said, half of them usually end up being half-hour comedies, or dramedies. Half of them end up being hour-long dramas or dramedies. So yeah.
Carol Garcia asks, is it open for international applicants living in the US? F1 visa.
You can apply from anywhere in the world. And I'm also going to address Maria's question about age restrictions. So, as long as you are 18 and over, anywhere in the world, you can apply. Keep in mind, the workshops are going to be kind of in the middle of the day for folks in LA and New York. And the pitches are all going to usually happen during 9 to 5 p.m. Pacific time because a lot of the execs are based in LA and on the East Coast. So, we have had a couple of people participate from Europe, for example, who have been, totally game for pitching at 2 a.m. And you just have to know if that's something that is going to be okay with your schedule and that you're going to be able to kind of handle. But you could be anywhere in the world. And an extra benefit, if you are located in New York City, we have a grant from the Mayor's Office of Media and Entertainment this year that is funding a Made in New York fellow. So there is a spot on the application to notate if you reside in the five boroughs of New York City. That is going to make sure that you get in the running for that Made in New York fellowship. That means that you have an extra little leg up if you live in New York. But again, you can apply anywhere in the world. We have a question from Divine Like You Meet It about the length of how does your project advance the representation of women and gender expensive people. Is 2 pages too long?
Let's fold that into the other question about how do you envision the season and beyond.
Mm.
Just in general, like how would you describe our requested answers for these and the length?
Yep. Okay. The maximum word count is 100 words for both of these.
Okay, all of them.
And we want to keep it really succinct. So let me give you an example of like a good answer. So if you were submitting hacks, you could say that, the first season sees our two main characters struggling to work together and finally like able to reach some common ground and succeed. And then the rest of the seasons are going to see these two women climbing the ranks of the industry and being between friends and foes as they climb the ranks of the comedy industry. So that's kind of what we want, something really, really short that gives us a sense of like, where is this going? Same thing with how does this advance the representation? We really want to hear like, who are you seeing in your script that we don't normally get to see on screen? Whether that is, reflective of, your own experiences or, just a character that we don't normally get to see on screen. We just want to hear, I know you might have a lot of aspects to the project that promote women, as you say, but, please try to keep it short and share the most salient aspects. Okay, Carrie asks, um, for an ensemble pilot without a single conventional protagonist, what's the most effective way to frame the show in the application materials?
I think that's an effective way. Just explaining that it's an ensemble pilot, an ensemble cast. You can pull out one or two characters that you want to highlight in the ensemble, but I think that would stand out. Kadia Blagrove asks, can I submit twice with two different ideas?
Yes, you can, and they will be treated as two separate applications. And so you are completely welcome to submit multiple scripts. Brittany asks, are limited series ideas accepted?
Yes, these are just going to get faster and faster. Becca Blackmore asks, is the semi-finalist networking event also virtual or in person?
Yep, it's all virtual because we are going to have semifinalists from all over the country, all over the world. And so everything we do for this program is virtual. Okay, Karen asks, should we submit again after having submitted before? It's the same pilot, but I've edited it significantly since submitting in 2023.
Absolutely. We get super excited when we see familiar names, especially if you've like moved up to um, finalist ranks or quarterfinalists or semifinalists. Sometimes you never know the reason why we can't select your script. Sometimes it's because there's another script that's too similar. And so we are super excited. This has happened in the past where someone applied a second time and we're like, yes. And we were actually able to select them as a fellow. So definitely apply again.
Yeah, and especially, apply again with a different script, but also, like you said, you can apply again with a script that you have significantly edited and improved. And I think, yeah, you could definitely submit that again. Where can I apply for the Pilot Accelerator?
You can apply through Scribe. We have it on our website and we'll put it in the chat. That's the platform that we're using now. It's a great new platform. It was recommended by one of our past fellows, and that is the only place where you can apply.
Braden is asking, does the time that we apply have an impact on our consideration? Will earlier submissions have a stronger opportunity of being selected, or are all submissions being treated equally? Braden says, I'm hoping to revise for the best version of my script beforehand.
Excellent question. It does not matter for you when you apply. What it helps us to spread out the applications so we can give all the applications enough time. And so that's why we offer these discounts earlier on to incentivize early applications, just so that we can spread out the workload. But we will give every application the same amount of time, so it doesn't hurt if it's later or earlier. If you need that time, definitely take it. Make sure that you are submitting the best script you can. But also keep in mind, we are also writers, so we know that the script never feels done. And so if you feel like it's great as it is, like don't just wait till the last minute and keep tweaking like 5 words. Like let it be done, submit it, and we will look at it. Karen Roberts asks, is it worth submitting when you already have your pilot pitch and visual pitch deck completed? Or is this program more so geared toward creating a pitch for people who don't have one?
Great question. It's always great to really know your project inside and out, which it sounds like you do. So what happens is when you submit, you can submit a pitch deck if you would like. We always tell people this, since this is not required, only submit your pitch deck if it's going to help your application. So we have seen pitch decks where we're like, wow, this person really knows the tone, the world, they know their project inside and out. We can see their vision, and that's really helpful. But if someone kind of slaps a pitch deck together and we're like, these comps don't really make sense for the script that I just read, I'm not really sure, or maybe they give an outline, a really detailed outline of the season, and we're like, wow, that does not sound like enough content for a whole season. That sounds like the second episode. Some in those kinds of cases, a pitch deck could actually hurt your application. So you want to make sure that if you're sending a pitch deck, you are sending something that you feel really, really good about. And then in terms of like having your pitch already, this program is all about developing your pitch and getting notes on it. And so, as long as you're coming in and you're excited to keep developing your pitch and getting feedback from a speech coach, a development exec, a showrunner, you're going to get a ton of input about your pitch. You're going to be practicing it a million times. You're going to be hearing the other fellows practice their pitches a million times and giving each other feedback outside of the program. Then it's perfect to submit. And I think, coming in with a strong pitch already is great because you have some really good material to work off of. And Tara is asking to clarify, can we send a pitch video for our initial application? Is there a place on Scribe?
You can't submit it for the initial application. That's only once you've gotten to the next round. We will request it and let you know exactly what we're looking for in that video pitch.
Yep, it's going to be 2 minutes, and we outline exactly what we want to hear in that. And just to kind of put it out there, we're going to say this to people who get requested to send in a 2-minute pitch video, but we're really looking for people who are just going to be talking straight to camera, like we are doing right now, like you're on Zoom, and being able to say it all in one take with no cuts, because that's what your pitches are going to be like. You're going to be talking to somebody live on Zoom, and you're not going to be able to, you know, do cuts or speed it up or what have you. So that is what we're going to be looking for.
Patricia Mendoza asks, I have a script that I'm ready to submit, but the medium is live action and animated, similar to Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Is that acceptable?
Oh, so little animated like additions to it. Yeah, so we could send that over. We're just not looking for like fully animated projects because that's not, the type of development execs that we have on board to hear pitches. Maddie says, do you prefer people with or without representation? And do you help get representation?
It doesn't matter if you have representation or not.
You're not only going to learn from Q&As with agent manager and an entertainment lawyer, but you also will have the opportunity to pitch to those folks if you don't have representation already.
Maddie Wheaton asks, do you accept writing duos as a singular fellow entry?
Yes, duos are acceptable, but no team larger than that. So these are going to be people who are pitching together, kind of like Tracy and I are talking together right now, two people on Zoom together. So we don't accept anything more than that.
Devin B asks, I was wanting to know if there must be a completed script or fully written script prior to potentially becoming a fellow.
Yes, you have to submit your full completed script and have it be as ready as you can, because keep in mind, if you are selected as a semi-finalist, this is going to be read by industry judges. So you really want it to be, your best foot forward. Casey Cook is asking about the 3 things that make a pitch video stand out. If you are brought to that next level, do you prefer talking to camera or a produced trailer?
Definitely talking to camera. We want to see what it would be like to hear your pitch in person. So just talking naturally, really showing what your personality is like. Anything else?
No.
So it's not the trailer, it's you talking.
Yeah, we specifically do not want a produced trailer. We really just want you talking because that's what is the execs are going to hear.
Praxis Fernandez asks, have you had a fellow receive no request for their pitch? If so, how has the program approached that?
We have never had that happen before. In the past, each fellow has received between 6 to 10 pitch requests during pitch week. I think the fact that we have 8 fellows and each company is hearing 3 pitches at least means that there's like a high likelihood that you're going to receive at least some pitch requests. We haven't come across, no pitch requests in the past. Again, because we have like 20 companies, so it's really highly likely that you will be requested to hear a pitch during pitch week.
Yeah. And also, we are working really hard to find interesting scripts. So by the time we're sending it to the execs, they're usually like, whoa, where did you find all these amazing pitches? So they do want to hear the pitches. And sometimes we say, we ask them to pick three, and sometimes they'll ask to listen to all the pitches because they're just all so unique. Steph asks, is this available for unscripted docuseries?
No, this program is only available for live action narrative, half hour and hour long pilot scripts. So only narrative for now. Maybe in the future we'll have something for unscripted, but right now we're focused on narrative live action. Patty says, if you make it into the accelerator, what is the time commitment in September for the daily sessions?
10 a.m. to 1 p.m. PT or 1 to 4 p.m. ET. So it
Mhm.
is a long commitment. But it's also how you form these really strong relationships with your cohort that ends up bringing your career up, rising tides.
Oh, and keep in mind that it's not just those, 3 hour sessions for those 3 days a week.
Oh,
You
yeah.
also are going to be spending a ton of time, you know, changing around your pitch based on feedback that you received. You're going to be spending a lot of time meeting up with pitch feedback partners within your cohort because we always pair people up every week so that they can practice together. They find that to be super helpful for not only getting the pitches ready and practicing, that way you have a built-in person to practice with, but also getting to know people better. That's where people really make even deeper relationships with the other fellows. So make sure you have time to devote to this if you're submitting.
Sumana Syed asks, are there any specific genres the program is looking for?
We're very specifically looking for variety because we want to be able to give like a wide range to the companies. And I'm going to include this question from Jess about what if my project is not the genre the market is looking for right now? Is it still a good script to submit with? How does that factor into your consideration? Because you don't really know what the market is looking for right now. We had a company that really focuses on horror ask to hear a lot of comedy scripts. We've had like a lot of surprises with what companies are wanting to hear. And you never know why they're picking certain fellows. They might be picking a fellow to hear pitches from because they really are interested in that project. They may be thinking, oh, we already have a similar project. Maybe this person might be right for the writer's room. They might be thinking, I really like this person's like background and their bio. They seem really interesting and like I want to keep that as a writer on file to consider in the future. So if you feel comfortable with your script, kind of put aside what the market is looking for because you really never know what it's going to be. Elena is asking, can someone who has staffed before enter?
Yes, we have had at least two fellows who've been staff before. Um,
Hmm.
selected as fellows. But really, like, that's not going to be the reason why we select you or don't select you. It's always based on the writing. It's always based on your drive to get these pitch meetings. Because even if you're staffed, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to get to pitch your script, your ideas to an executive. So we're looking for people that want to break through, want these meetings. And it doesn't matter if you've been in the room or not before.
Yeah, all we care about is the quality of your writing. And once you get to that point where you send in a 2-minute pitch video, the quality of your pitch, and do we feel like we can, get your pitch ready in time to talk to all of these companies?
Wow, there's a lot more
Here,
questions.
are there any additional costs beyond the application fee throughout the 3-week duration?
No, we do want to acknowledge that it is a cost to have so much time invested in the program. We do ask for a lot of time. So a lot of fellows have had to take time off of work, or get babysitters or whatnot. So that is a cost, but it's no additional costs from us.
Okay, let's make sure we get to some that haven't really been covered. We'll put a link in the chat for the cheat sheet for answers about the application questions that we want to see. So, Kendall, if you're able to put that blog post in the chat, that can clarify like the questions that will be. Mallory's asking if there's only going to be one New York City person chosen. So there's going to be at least one New York City person chosen, but it's not going to be detrimental to you to say that you're located in New York because we can have multiple people located in New York. It's just guaranteed that at least one is going to get that spot. So don't worry, it only helps you if you live in New York.
Deanie Wallace asks, are the companies looking for scripts to produce or are they more interested in purchasing rights?
These companies are interested in so many different things that we don't even, you know, can't even anticipate all the potential things that could come of this. So they are looking for projects because they are looking to actually, find projects to produce. They're looking for writers that they want to learn more about. They're looking to have diversity in their writers' rooms. We don't know exactly what the companies are looking for when they sign on, but these are all valuable relationships to have.
Sparks asks, how many people read your script the first round before deciding if it makes it to the video portion? Is it
At
like
least two people are looking at your application at the beginning. And by the time you get to the end, if you're a fellow, like 10 to 12 people will have read your script. And so it all depends on how far, but you always get looked at by at least two people. Okay, I want to just like rapid fire through some of these.
Is this a program for people who are new to the business or just people who've already been staffed have credits? It's for everyone. Anyone that's a good writer, great writer.
If your pitch deck is 80% finished, still missing info, better not to include it. I'd say if you don't feel good with your pitch deck, don't include it. But like if you feel really confident with what you have created for your deck, feel free to submit that. There's no advantage to submitting sooner other than that it's cheaper.
What if we've already submitted? Are we doomed if we can't integrate some of this? LOL. No, as long as your writing's great, then that's you're already done. This is all just sugar on top.
Yes, horror scripts are welcome. Yes, we have
Very
had
welcome.
very welcome. Tracy loves horror. Yes, we have selected many scripts with predominantly BIPOC casts. What is the deadline for taking the pilot revision class? That starts on April 28th. So as long as you sign up by April 28th, you can do it. Is the application something you can start, stop, and save? I don't know. I have
I
not come
assume
across that
so.
on
If you
Scribe.
can create a profile, it seems like you.
I would copy and paste your answers in another Word document just in case so you don't lose anything. Um,
So
but
that's
maybe
life advice there.
that's life advice. Um, is it realistic to complete your 30-day pilot revision course and still get accepted into the pilot accelerator? So I'm looking up at my calendar. The course goes from April 28th to May 28th. And I think the actual revision, if you follow the course like every day, would end on the 26th. We do give you a couple extra days to submit if you do the pilot revision course because we know we are cutting it close. As we said, we like added this super late. But if this helps you get your project ready, then yes, I do believe you can still you can still have time to submit it. Okay, don't send in a first draft that you don't feel ready with. Submit something that you feel really confident on. We typically receive, like 550 to 750 applications. We have no idea how many it will be this year. Um, can you still submit if you shot a proof of concept? You can, but that's not going to be something that you send along with the project. Or psychological thrillers, okay? Yes. Yes, you can be a WGA member. You can have sold something in the past. Do judges ask what else you've written? The judges who are like the industry judges are only reading your script and looking at that. But if you're pitching, yes, they will ask, what other types of projects you work on and who you are as a writer. And so we always tell people to talk about this is who I am as a writer in general. Like I like these themes and stuff like that. So we definitely coach people on how to talk about their writing and their other projects. Do you see
Um,
anything else you want to address?
still, guys, there's so many questions. Uh, who teaches the pilot rewrite class, a writer or executive? We've developed the course based on what we've read over 2,200 scripts,
And
and
sat in on
adding on all
230
the
some pitch
pitches.
meetings.
So we developed the course based on that.
Brittany asks, is it a pilot episode or whole season we're submitting? It's just the pilot episode. You need the full script of one pilot. And let's see. Oh, this is interesting. Pamela says, I noticed there are posts on Instagram going over whether certain app submissions were accepted or rejected. This is enormously helpful for future applicants, but is it possible to opt out of that for my submission? This is like super anonymized. So we are kind of putting together multiple things. So to kind of create the vision of like what a real submission is. So it's super anonymized. We're not using like an actual like singular script to talk about. Just kind of like general examples, I think.
I don't think we're gonna be able to get to all these other questions. There's about like three more pages of questions, but we do have a very thorough FAQ on our website.
If you are a Moonshot member, you have a 15% or 30% discount, depending on whether you're a monthly or annual member. And that goes all the way through the final deadline. Just as a quick recap of the upcoming events, we have our Hudson Valley screening on the 23rd. We have our in-person NYC mixer on the 27th with NIWIFT. Revise a Pilot begins on April 28th. If you're interested in doing that, it is totally free for annual members. Our panel with our Q&A with our 2024 Pilot Accelerator Fellows is on May 4th. That will give you so much more insight. If your question didn't get answered, that's also a great place to ask more questions and to just learn a lot more about this process. And that is always one of our most popular events. These fellows like have gone through the whole process. They have pitched to so many places. They have learned so much through all of that. So those are great people to ask a lot of questions to. And that's donation based. And our Creative Resilience virtual meetup on May 5th, that is free for all members. And that's just a great place to meet people and network and connect. We are also going to do some sort of like networking and career development type summer event for all applicants of this program because we know that like it can be hard to submit to something and then feel like, okay, like I didn't get into this, what's next? So we want to provide a lot of career development resources and like how do you improve your submissions for next time? What do you do if you don't get into programs, but you want to get into them in the future? What's next? So we'll cover all of that in that summer date TBA workshop event, which will be virtual. Okay.
Thank you all so
Look,
much.
we sped through that at the end, but I hope we answered all of your questions. Thank you so, so much for all of your questions, for your interest in this. We hope that you feel more confident submitting your application, and we're excited to see everyone's submissions.
So excited. Good luck, everyone.
Good luck. Bye. Thank you all so much.